Welcome back, beautiful people. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I am your host, Zen Sams. Now, welcoming to the show in just a few, we have producer of Entourage and Ballers, Rob Weiss, who teamed up with Shawn and O'Neill McKnight and launched the Cray on PodcastOne this past June. Now, the Cray is sponsored by McKnight, and their premiere episode featured Adam Carolla, Perez Hilton, and Robert Horry. And it's a rare feat when a podcast launches with a title sponsor. Take it from me, I've got about half a dozen. And then they take it one step further and incorporate a branded in-show segment. It's a dream scenario for a podcasting platform, and it exhibits the endless possibilities that exist for brands and hosts in the podcasting world, and that's something that I've been advocating for a while. Now, the Cray addresses today's biggest issues in hopes of enlightening listeners and helping them grow. And of course, it's all about growing. No one can deny that in these wild times, the world has gone more than just a little bit crazy, and I think it's a very fitting title, and I think they aim to explore the effect of these times on our mind, body, and soul. And now Rob Weiss is a friend, and he's a native New Yorker, very fitting to be on the Voice of New York right now. He studied film and fashion in New York City at Parsons School of Design. He wrote and directed the 1993 cult classic Amongst Friends, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival.
We don't.
Rob,
I don't want to cut you off, but we don't really give out the years because it dates me. You know what I mean? But that's okay. Continue.
Okay. Okay,
I'm only teasing. I'm only joking. So.
We could cut that out. We could totally cut that.
I'm only teasing you.
You're so hilarious. And you know, the HBO series, including Entourage, is really where I wanted to take the viewers. And had to make it in America. And Ballers was starring Dwayne Johnson.
It's a New York show.
Yeah, it's a New York show, but they do know it over there. And the massive pop culture success of Entourage earned you how many? 6 Golden Globes for Best Television Series?
Nominations, no wins.
3 Primetime Emmy Award nominations for what was it? Yeah. Best Comedy, right?
Best Comedy, that's right.
Well, you know what? Welcome to the show. You welcomed yourself. So great to have you on.
I have to just jump in. If I don't jump in, I just like kind of spiral waiting to talk. You know, I get all that like.
I love the urgency.
And you have just such an energy. I'm like, just like, wow. I remember when I was that like fast and sharp and lived back east. So it's kind of refreshing, especially at 9:30 in the morning, my time.
Yeah, good morning.
I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully my energy will pick up throughout the day. So.
You just need that shot of coffee. I love coffee.
I already got it. I took it at 6:30, but I think I'm ready for the next. You know?
Yeah, coffee throughout the day. Now, everything, Rob, that you have ever put your mind to, you've accomplished, and some say that you kind of worked backwards, you know, from Entourage and Ballers to focusing on the podcast, so to speak. Now, tell us what inspired this podcast specifically, and how you tie it into giving back.
I think, like, you know, well, I mean, they're separate points, but you know, for several years last few years leading into the pandemic, when podcasts were really popular, I had a few friends who were kind of involved in that field. Who were like, you should do a pod. We should do a pod with our friends. And we're all fucking nuts. And we should do this pod. And we kind of explored one avenue, and I didn't really like it. I felt like it was light on concept. And then a friend of mine, Shawn, had introduced me to Norm Pettis, who owned and started PodcastOne. And I went to lunch with him, and he's like, you guys are fucking crazy. You should do a show called The Crazies. And we started thinking, we're like, you know, and this is in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm like, whoa, the whole world's kind of crazy right now. I mean, I've said it on my show. I think that, like, literally, I feel like I'm walking around, zombies are coming at me half the time. Because people are acting so uncharacteristically like they were before they were 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we're in insane times. But tell the audience, because the Cray, you ask your interviewees to bring a memento from their personal collection that will go up for sale in the Cray store on McKnight.
Right.
And then
so basically, we tried a bunch of different ways. Just to answer the first thing, we tried a bunch of different ways. Met Norm. He was like, "You guys should do it." We built out the Cray. It was supposed to be more of kind of like gurus coming in and helping people, but it just became more about like crazy conversations with really cool, inspirational people. But we have some amazing stuff lined up. McKnight came in as our title sponsor via an introduction from a former partner of ours. And the way we tried to developed this relationship is Macari is an online marketplace, and they're actually launching Macari Local now, which is really kind of interesting. And we'll get onto that in my show. But, we wanted to build out this store for people to actually try Macari, sell products on. So we built a Cray shop, and our store benefits Children's Hospital LA. So, for example, JB Smoove is on his episode of Lair in a couple of weeks. I think he's actually selling some kind of wardrobe / memorabilia from Curb that will go listed on the shop, and people can buy it, and it'll benefit the
And then the
Children's
funds raised from the sale of that item goes directly to benefit the Children's Hospital. That's amazing. So
like I'm donating a signed by the cast Entourage poster. They get, I mean, I don't even know why I have it. I think I got it in case I got an office and I wanted to hang it up. But
so you have already gotten a few items in. What's
like Ashley
the weirdest?
Benson.
What's the weirdest item or the coolest thing you've gotten?
I don't know that we've really dug deep enough yet. We're still really early into the podcast. We've only, I think, dropped 5 episodes, the 6th dropping this week. So most of the stuff's kind of been like on the first episode with the podcasters, they all donated books. Ashley Benson is donating Privé Revaux sunglasses, a company she's partners with Jamie Foxx in. Charlotte McKinney was going to do like a signed Carl's Jr. hat because that commercial is what made her famous. So it's kind of like cool, interesting things.
Cool, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Cool, interesting. And the Cray is available on PodcastOne, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, and all the platforms.
Yeah. Same thing as all the other 950,000 podcasts that
exactly.
are in existence. It was really important that I jump into the podcast game at this time in my life because, we're so light on pods to choose from.
You are 100% right. It's booming. Okay. Do you have a dream guest?
A dream guest. I think the real macro goal for me with it in terms of guests is the combination of guests, right? Like I'll speak to interesting people and go, oh, I want to have a conversation with these guys about that. But sometimes, and I just don't want to say who it is because I'm in the middle of trying to do one right now. It's a little tricky to get people together. Like when people like putting Charlotte McKinney and Cedric the Entertainer together at the table was awesome.
That was awesome. I saw that
DJ Cassidy and JB Smoove together in the conversation is great. They have an organic relationship along with O'Neill McKnight, our co-host.
All right.
And it was just, I never.
It's pairing the right people. Okay, yes, so we have 3 minutes left. I want to do some Hollywood trivia with you. Are you ready?
For sure.
Okay, let's see how well you know Vance and the gang. Okay, what was the name of the movie that Vincent shot in Bogota?
In Bogota.
Medellin, right. And according to Turtle, who sent back 300,000 pictures because it made his package look too small in sweatpants.
Oh, that's fucking hysterical. I know it is too. I know this. It's you don't want to you don't want to get this wrong. And I'm not calling out somebody.
Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty.
Yeah, Warren Beatty.
That's right.
Okay, what is the name of the dog that Vince purchases in season 1?
Oh, it's everybody would always hit me up because I had Rottweilers, and everybody would always be, is that Arnold?
Exactly, right. Arnold. What is the name of the childhood friend and ex-con who comes to live with Vince?
I wrote all those. Dom.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, there you go. Well, the boys are back in town.
Yeah, I didn't really produce Entourage. I was a writer. I was writer, exec producer on Entourage.
Oh, right, yeah. But you wrote a lot of. Okay, so the boys are back in town. What comic book is Ari trying to get Vince to star in?
Aquaman.
What's the nickname of Johnny Chase?
Drama.
There you go. Well, it's obvious to you. Some of our 710 WR listeners are not up to date, but now they will be. You guys definitely have to check out Rob Weiss. Check out his podcast, The Cray. It's available on everywhere you get your usual podcasts, specifically PodcastOne. And the vodcast will be seen on LiveX Live. And Rob, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was awesome having you on.
You
have a minute left now. That's it. That's it. You what's your exit? Come on, tell the world. What's the
Damn,
next
oh my
big thing you're
God.
working on? What's the next big thing you're working on?
You
You have a
know
minute
what?
left.
That's more than a minute conversation because I'm trying to figure it out. I'm actually going to call your husband and talk to him about it because I got to
Oh,
come up with some big plans. But it's you know, it's literally a very interesting yet subtly crazy time in this business.
everything is coming alive. This is the time. And I know you are a hot commodity in Hollywood. And I know that everybody knows who you are. And you are not only talented, but you are gifted. You'd like to give back. And I thank you for coming on the show. The Cray is definitely something you guys should check out. You're listening to A Moment of Zen. I am your host, Zen Sams, right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. That was Rob Weiss. We will be right back after this.